What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host, and this is our second emergency podcast of the week because in completely unexpected and inexplicable news, the Carolina Panthers have brought back Cam Newton. Joining me to break it down, the one, the only, John Breech. What's up, buddy?
Brinson, this is literally the last thing I had on my NFL bingo card today. If you would have told me Odell Beckham was signing to play soccer in the Premier League, I would have believed that before I believed that Cam Newton was going back to Carolina.
It ranks pretty high on the list of things that you would not expect to have happened in 2021. Although, I mean, look, this. All right, let's start. Let's start with this first. Is this a football move, or is this a let's forget about Sam Darnold and the second round pick we traded for him and the $18.8 million we owe him next year move?
Can it be both?
Yes.
I think it is both because, I mean, some of your tweets have been spot on. I would say that's about par for the course with Brinson. Of his 120,000 tweets, I would say 60,000 of them have been spot on, which is a high number. You know, I'm going to give Brinson credit there. But it does feel like, you know what? We crapped down our pants with the Sam Darnold trade. It looks horrible. And now he's injured. And now we can just kind of shove that aside, pretend it never happened. And the best part is you can do all that and be happy with where you are because you're 4-5. You're only a half game out of the 7th seed in the NFC. So your season's not over by any means. And if you bring in a competent quarterback, and maybe one who's beloved by the fan base, all of a sudden things feel a little different. So yeah, I think it's a great football move because there's not a lot of guys who are available out there. And I think it does take kind of some of the stink off that Sam Darnold trade.
It really does. Like, it's amazing to see Panthers fans and the general football. I mean, like, we're doing an emergency podcast of this, right? Like, I mean, it was Debo sent out the alarm signal in Slack, and it was a no-brainer. Like, yeah, I mean, of course we'll do an emergency podcast on Cam Newton. Cam Newton coming back to the Panthers. You don't see this sort of reunion in the NFL. I mean, look, they cut him after 2018. 2019, they signed Teddy Bridgewater to a ton of money. 2019.
After the 2019 season.
Right. He was last. He only played 2 games in 2018. It was hurt most of the season. 2019, they signed Teddy Bridgewater to play for them. And
you're 1 year off again, Brinson. You even corrected yourself. He played 2 games in 2019, and they signed Teddy for 2020. Your COVID timeline is
COVID timeline is throwing me off quite a bit. Right, sorry. 2020 is when they brought in Teddy Bridgewater. David Tepper, the owner, grew sour on him after just 1 year. Didn't believe that he could get the Panthers to a Super Bowl, get the Panthers to the playoffs. So they cut bait. 2021, of course, they trade for Sam Darnold, give him a 2nd round pick, a 4th round pick, and they swap, I think, 6th round picks. Darnold now out for 4 to 6 weeks, and so they're bringing back Cam Newton. Awesome. I am one of the biggest Cam stans on the planet. I'm pumped for Cam. I'm pumped for the Panthers, but I think that and Cam, by the way, is fully vaxxed now. He's said that he's vaxxed. So I think technically he'd be eligible to play on Sunday against the Cardinals if the Panthers were so inclined. That game, of course, is on the road. I would let's see, where are the Panthers?
Yeah, you know who they play after the Cardinals?
Oh my God,
Ron
Rivera! In Carolina. So Cam versus Ron in Carolina next week. Like, surely they're not going to trot him out against the Cardinals this week, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's any way you play him against the Cardinals just because he's only going to have 1 full practice, which is tomorrow. And, you know, PJ Walker's been in the system. You throw him out there against the Cardinals, cross your fingers, hope they pull off an upset. If not, you get Cam in there. He has a full week of practice under his belt, and you play him against Washington. And we're looking at these contract numbers from Ian Rappaport. 1 year deal worth up to $10 million, includes $4.5 million fully guaranteed, and a $1.5 million roster bonus. So that's remember, we're halfway through the season. So if he's getting a contract worth up to $10 million, that's like getting a full year deal worth up to $20 million. So this contract screams Cam Newton's our starting quarterback. I mean, you don't give anyone this type of money unless you are planning to start them for the rest of the season. So maybe he will be out there against Arizona. I don't know.
Maybe they signed him on Thursday afternoon at like 12:30. I mean, are they starting him this week? Are they starting him this week? That would be crazy. Right?
That money says maybe. I mean, I just think it's too soon, but that money says maybe. That's enough money.
That does not scream, let's wait a week to start him. Money. It really doesn't. And my God, that is a lot of money.
Let me ask you. So, we saw this report from the Charlotte.
It's also possible that the 4.5 million, so you 4.5 fully guaranteed. This is not veteran minimum money.
Right.
$1.5 million roster bonus. So he's more than likely getting a full $6 million for this deal. And then probably $4 million in incentives. So I would guess a big chunk of change if the Panthers make the playoffs, right? Like a $2 million roster, $2 million bonus if the Panthers make the playoffs. I don't know, touchdown. Like, I don't know how you do it midway through the year where you do, or maybe it's if Cam plays 7+ games.
I think it's got to be season incentives. Because like you said, there's not going to be season you'll see completion percentage, completions, passing yards. You'll see those incentives. That's not going to be in here. It's got to be postseason related.
Couldn't you see Cam Newton like agreeing to do a deal where he's like, they're like, all right, we'll give you. He's like, I want a $2 million bonus if I win the Super Bowl. And they're like, okay, all right. We'll do. Like, I could see Cam doing that. Because
Cam's so confident in himself and the Panthers are like lunging to sign at the dotted line. They're like, yeah, we'll do that because we don't even think we're going to win the Super Bowl. So that's like a free non-$2 million for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like, sure, Cam, we'll do that. He's like, and of course, I want an additional $1 million bonus if I win MVP. And they're like, yeah, Cam, whatever you want.
You just keep coming up with these crazy contract stipulations. We'll add them.
Look, maybe he does start this weekend. That would just be if he starts this weekend. It would be really fast to do that, especially because as we pointed out, Cam was gone. Or so I guess wait, is this Matt Rule's third year? Or is this his second year? Is this
2020 was his first year.
Right. So no, Cam and Matt Rule and Joe Brady haven't worked together.
No.
Right. I mean, like, I don't
know.
Well,
hold on. That's the twist here, Brinson, is that, and maybe I want to know what you think of this situation. It's not that they just haven't worked together. Matt Rule's first big decision as head coach was we're getting rid of Cam Newton. We don't want Cam Newton. We're moving on from Cam Newton. We can go out and find somebody better than Cam Newton. And guess what? That's backfired in their face because David Tepper didn't want Teddy Bridgewater. As you mentioned, they traded way too much to get Sam Darnold. And so now they've come back like tail tucked between their legs and said, Cam, we need you back, buddy. And so, I mean, how do you feel? How do you think that meeting went on Thursday morning between Rule, Tepper, and Cam Newton? I mean, that's bizarre.
I think I will say this though, that I think as ridiculous as the people are like, oh, got to swallow a lot of pride to bring Cam back and all that. That may be true, but this is exactly what Cam wants. Cam wants to be a starter, and he wants to go somewhere where he is. Embrace, hey, Ryan Wilson, everybody. Look who's back. The first time on the podcast since 2019. Ryan Wilson's come back just like Cam Newton. What's up, man?
Cam Newton's #1 fan.
Yeah, dressed up for Cam Newton, too. And I had to do HQ real quick. Literally, I was cleaning my kid's bathroom when I got the call. I had just, Sean Humblebrag. We have some visitors coming, so that's the second bathroom. What are you making faces for?
2 bathrooms.
You don't make your kids clean their bathroom?
Breech, you may, I don't know, your kid will probably be better than my kids. It's not worth it. It's just not worth the headache. Anyway, so I humble brag.
Does your wife scream about like pee on the seats all the time?
Always, because she grew up in a house full of women.
Complaining about it, not to derail from Cam Newton. AK's like, will you teach him to wipe all the seats? I'm like, look, what do you want? Just clean the bathroom. What do you want?
He ain't going to do it. They don't do it. Anyway, that's what I was doing. I'm sweaty, and but you wouldn't know to look at me.
No, you wouldn't. You look great.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, great.
Extra glossy, Wilson.
I love
but really quickly, Wilson. By the way, don't ask me to do any math on 2018, 19, or 20 because I can't do it. I can't remember when the Panthers did anything. But I will ask you this: today is Thursday. It is Thursday around lunch, barbecue time in Carolina is when the Panthers signed Cam Newton officially.
Yeah,
does he start on Sunday? He can't, right?
Well, it's PJ Walker, and PJ Walker is actually pretty good.
No, but if he, as Breech and I discovered, if he doesn't start on Sunday. Do you know who they play in next week, the week after?
football team, right?
Ron Rivera in Charlotte.
Oh, in Charlotte. Yeah.
Triple revenge game.
Yeah, you guys are huge. Actually, I think Brinson's bigger than Breech on the revenge games.
Yes, my favorite thing.
Here's the only thing, though.
Revenge game.
He doesn't know Joe Brady's offense. Like, was he there at all?
We already did the math. He was not there.
Right, okay.
First move Matt Rule did, as Breech points out, was to cut Cam Newton.
Although, and Jamie, I was just talking to Jamie Eisenberg, and he just pointed out that during the combine before Matt Rule's first season, he said, we want to keep Cam Newton because it was sort of like, as I noted, it like when he was at Baylor and Temple, he wanted to be all inclusive with the kids and have 100 scholarships, and it just ain't going to work that way. I wouldn't start him against Arizona. Although, to Cam's credit, he came in during the lockout year as a rookie and balled out with very little preparation. He wasn't terrible in COVID year going to New England. He struggled throwing the ball, but I think that was more injury related than anything. Maybe he can come in there and do a few things. Is Kyler playing?
I don't think we know.
We don't know that yet.
Yeah. Here's the other thing too: is if you don't play Cam Newton this weekend, I mean, ticket sales for that game against Washington are going to be through the roof. Like, Panthers, I mean, like this is sort of, this feels to me like some super group or some really famous rock band doing a mildly unnecessary reunion tour. Like when the Police got back together after several years of being
Breech, Britney Spears and Kevin Federline get back together one last time.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this would be. That's what this feels like with the Panthers reuniting with.
Isn't this actually just like J-Lo and Ben Affleck?
That's not bad, Brinson. I kind of like it.
Which one's J-Lo and which one's Ben Affleck?
I just meant that they're back together.
Oh, because both are real.
Cam is J-Lo, and the Panthers are Ben Affleck.
When did J-Lo have a rough patch, though? I feel Billy Ben had the roughest patch of the crew, and they both still did.
No, J-Lo's the star. She's the one that went off, and Cam did well with the Panthers, and the Panthers just decided.
The Panthers are currently 4-5. They've looked like doo-doo. They have played terrible football, for the exception of the 3 wins where they've looked awful. The Panthers fans are out on this team. They're over it. They're people are starting to like rip Tepper's an idiot. He can't, he traded for Darnold. He signed Teddy. Like, what is this guy doing? He can't keep his hands off the quarterback situation. And now it's like, we don't care because Cam's back. I mean, it's a really brilliant marketing move by the Panthers.
Well, you got to win. Here's what I'm thinking now that you brought it up. He's not playing this weekend if I'm Matt Rule, but he's playing going forward, and here's why. They're currently 8th, as you know. They're 4-5. They're half a game out of the final wild card spot behind the Falcons, that was their last victory a few weeks ago. And I think, these are Stephen O's numbers, I would imagine. Cam Newton gives them 0.2 of a win more than Sam Darnold. Certainly feels like more than that, so we'll see. But how many wins do you need, Breech, if you're 4-5 to get that 7th or even 6th spot? Because I feel like if you get is 8 wins going to do it?
I think 9 wins definitely does it. So you're only talking about going 5-3. And if 8 wins somehow does it, then you need to go 4-4, which is even more plausible because you look at their schedule. It's not just Washington. They play Miami after that. Maybe they luck out and they the Cardinals team.
Then they get their bye week after that.
And then they get the Falcons.
If Colt McCoy's starting, they're not going to get blindsided by Colt McCoy like the San Francisco 49ers did. I think the Panthers defense will actually play the Cardinals well if McCoy's in there. So you're talking about Arizona with Colt McCoy maybe, and then Washington, Miami, Atlanta. I mean, they could easily go 3-1, and that's completely plausible. And if they do that, then you find yourself at 7-6, and you are probably leading that 7th wild card spot, and you're definitely right in the thick of it.
All right, you know what happens? One thing quickly, Breech. You know what happens in Week 18, Breech, when they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Your favorite thing. The Buccaneers are gonna bench everyone because they're the number 1 team wrapped up.
I've been talking about that game for months. How the Panthers are going to win that game because of that. So over at Caesars, this is an interesting thing that sportsbooks have started doing in the last. Really, I feel like this year is really the first year where it's happened. But adjusted win totals in the middle of the season. I have these on my local, which is just something they haven't had in years past. The Panthers adjusted win total at Caesars is currently 6.5. The under is -120. The over is +100. If you were betting on this, what would you take today?
I'm taking the over all day long.
Yeah, I would pound the over. Get my hammer out. I'm pounding.
They got 4 wins.
Would you keep pounding?
They only need 3. Yeah, they only need. keep pounding. Hashtag keep pounding. They only need 3 wins to get this over. And like we just said, they play Washington, Miami, and Atlanta. If that's not their 3 wins, if they just get 2 of those 3, they only have to pull 1 upset the rest of the season. And, as we saw this past weekend, Jacksonville beat Buffalo. Upsets happen all the time. I think the over looks like, I can't believe that's the number. I mean, that's mind-blowing that the plus is at over 6.5, is getting plus money.
Hey, by the way, do you guys remember where Cam Newton's first career start was?
No one knows.
Is it Arizona?
At Arizona, 422 passing yards. Remember, he set the rookie record because it was him versus Pat D in 2011.
First time start ever, revenge game.
Oh my God!
And you know what's funny about that? That was the record for most passing yards in a first start until Mike White broke it against the Bengals this year.
Yikes!
Dunk on myself.
We missed. Dunked on myself. Yeah, you good call. Bruce.
Debo's in the Matrix today with the graphics.
He's just sharing his screen.
Debo's just been dying to have an emergency podcast, and now he's had 2 in a week. We go.
You think Debo has like?
How is it that Cam only ran 8 times for 18 yards in that game? By the way,
do you think Debo has like 4 screens and he's just banging buttons, like throwing up stuff like he's Tom Cruise in Minority Report?
Maybe. Look, I think it would be a so the playoff scenario, the playoff setup. By the way, can we get Steve Smith back? Like everybody on that team that Debo just showed, Steve Smith is working for NFL Network. There you go, Josh Edwards. Bring it back.
There it is, Josh.
Greg Olson working for Fox now.
Legadou Nane. I saw his name.
Get the band back together.
D'Angelo. Oh, Legadou Nane.
That's a name. He's an all-time name team.
Throw that roster back up. The 2011. Just bring back the 2011 Panthers. Why not?
Because they weren't that good. Bring back the 2015 Panthers.
That's good.
Here it is. Here we go.
Here it is. Brinson sucks at math. Thank you.
Coworkers coming out.
Oh boy.
Coworkers and listeners. You love to see it.
Yeah, love to see it. Jonathan Stewart. D'Angelo Williams is like a professional wrestler now. What's Thomas Davis doing? Oh,
he's probably still playing somewhere.
So yeah. I do think it's going to be interesting to see how well Cam's playing, because we saw, he started pretty well with the Patriots. Then just after he got COVID, just downhill and didn't look good the rest of the season. But now he's had time to get healthy. Literally hasn't worried about playing football since whenever he got cut. I think that was August 31st. So he has had 10 weeks to get right. And this should be as healthy as he's ever been over the past 3 years. So maybe he'll look okay.
You know what's unfortunate? They didn't sign him last week, because that's the revenge game you want, the Patriots.
Oh man,
you guys missed out on an opportunity there.
Well, I mean, we didn't, but the Panthers did. Look, and by the way, do we think Sam Darnold's actually injured, or is this like a shoulder injury that will cost him the rest of the season?
It's the same injury that Zach Wilson has, where the coach is just like, we got a better quarterback. We need something else. You're not cutting it.
I mean, I do think that, look, they have a shot at the playoffs. They are.
Oh, they have I don't know what the playoff odds have changed to. I don't know what they were before either.
Path to 9 wins.
They're a half a game out of the last spot, and we don't know what the Saints are going to do at number 6, because they don't have a quarterback of any sort of, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be.
The Saints should have signed Cam Newton, frankly.
The Panthers, in our latest playoff projections this week, this is before Cam got signed, from Stephen O over at Sportsline, had a 6.9% chance of getting to the postseason, which is 8th, 9th, 10th, the 12th best in the NFC. So basically,
where are the Falcons and the Saints at, according to Stephen O, before the Cam Newton deal?
We had them left. We had the Panthers left for dead. The Saints were in the 6th spot, so in the playoffs, and then the Falcons were in the 10th spot.
The
7th spot in the NFC went to the Vikings.
Well, Stephen O sent out updated Cam Newton stats. Actually, the Panthers go from 8.5% chance to make the playoffs with Sam Darnold to 10.6% chance to make the playoffs with Cam Newton. They go from 7.1 wins to 7.3 wins. Their division chances go up 0.3%, which is actually kind of high. 10-1 to make the playoffs is a good bet.
I don't think it's crazy. I mean, you look at some of these games earlier in the season where, Debo, you had that Eagles game. That could have gone either way. They lost in overtime to the Minnesota Vikings. Yep. If they just win one of those two games, if not both, we're talking about the Panthers like being cemented in. Two of those wins would have had them at 6-3, and this would be a completely different story right now because they'd be in the 6th spot. So,
I hear you lurking. What you got? What you got to ask?
Nothing. I was muted.
I take the yes. 10-1's good.
10-1.
It did sound like Debo was about to fall down again.
I was making sure Debo didn't hurt himself.
You want to explain yourself with the AK burning yourself cooking?
Oh, what happened there?
Not right now. The emergency podcast.
We'll save that.
I mean, we can't. She burned. She keeps jamming her hands. She keeps jamming her hand into the oven all the time. She and her brother, my brother-in-law, both have burns. All like they're idiots. They keep putting like uncovered hands into the oven.
How come?
Because they're idiots.
Are they getting something out, or just that they're doing?
Yeah. Like she'll want to do. Like sometimes.
Do we need to get AK like an oven mitt for Christmas? Do we need to all chip in?
My sister-in-law got Jay, my brother-in-law, AK's brother, a oven mitt that extends beyond his elbow, so he would stop burning his arms. Like she didn't burn her hands. She burns or she'll grab like a paper towel to grab a.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe you guys should just get rid of the oven overall. Like, forget the oven mitts. The oven is the problem here.
I am very anti-heat. Like heat, I don't touch anything that's even close to being hot.
Yeah, like most normal human beings.
Well, to the point where my wife's like, you got to quit being so oversensitive about the heat. But on the other hand, guess who doesn't get burned?
Yeah.
This
me.
guy.
Yeah, you and me. Right. It's exactly. It is. You're the opposite of what AK does. AK is like, she's like, and she's also overblowing it with the tweet. By the way, Debo, did you follow her on Twitter? Follow her back on
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. Just checking. She was asking questions about it. She didn't miss it if you followed her back.
Brinson rubbing off on her.
No, she was like, why didn't Debo follow me? I was like, I'm guessing he doesn't know that you have like what your Twitter account is. Anyway,
what a way to put Devo on the spot, man.
You put me on. What are you talking about? He put me on. He's like, do you want to explain your wife burning herself all the time?
So you explained it.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's everyone's final record prediction for the Panthers right now?
All right.
4-5 with Cam Newton coming to town this week.
Cam Newton has already released a video on his YouTube page. Iconic saga. Oh my goodness gracious.
Breech, I'm going to go with 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
Does that math work out?
That works out.
8 and 9.
It's a 45-second Cam's back video.
Well, we saw him back. We know he's back. He was hugging David Tepper.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to have to write a $10,000 royalty check to someone for Brinson playing music.
Yeah.
That was less than 5 seconds. We're fine. Spring Hill Outdoor says this show is for people living in fantasy land.
I said 8 and 9. What's your record, Breech?
I was thinking 8 and 9 also. I'm leaning between 7 and 10 and 8 and 9. It's going to be tough to get to 9 and 8. Just 'cause their final 4 games are Bills, Buccaneers, Saints, Buccaneers. And so that is rough. I think they get at least 3 more wins. I'll go 7 and 10.
Oh, not even as optimistic as me.
But that's still over the 6.5.
Yeah.
Brinson, what do you think?
He's going to say like 11 and.
Well, I mean, he's the closet Panthers fan here. Before Phillip Rivers,
I'm a Cam fan. I love Cam.
Before Matthew Stafford, Cam and the Panthers were Brinson's original baby.
I mean, I might.
Yes, he's back on the. He is back on the bandwagon, Brinson.
I might go full Panthers fan. I might be back. I'm back in.
Just like you've always been.
I'm 12 and 5.
9 and 8. 9 and 8 is my record prediction. The 6th seed. They take down the Buccaneers. They win the division. No, I'm just kidding. I think
9 and 8 isn't even that. I thought you were going to go bold.
9 wins. No, I mean, they got to play the Bills, the Bucks twice. I do think the Bucks will sit everybody in that final week.
Bruce Arians ain't sitting nobody, and Tom Brady ain't going to let him sit anybody.
And they'd have to have a seed wrapped up because, I don't think they're going to have the first seed wrapped up in that final week because they're a game behind the Cardinals right now. So they'd have to get a game ahead or 2 games ahead to not have to worry about it in the final week.
So I think they have a chance to win against the Cardinals if Kyler and crew don't play.
Yeah, definitely.
With PJ Walker?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Their defense is good enough that they can stop Colt McCoy.
Well, Mac Jones hurt Brian Burns' ankle, so we'll see where he is.
I know, dirty. It actually wasn't dirty. He was grabbing him to stop him from chasing the football. He wasn't like
Brian thought it was dirty. No, I saw it.
Yeah,
I saw
it's-
Matt
You know what's
Chandler.
funny is after the Panthers beat the Saints in week 2, that blowout, they won 26-7. And with the Saints coming off that Packers win in week 1, it literally felt like, oh my God, are the Panthers really good this year?
Yeah, and they're not good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it hasn't been as great since then. But like most of their games have been close. I think besides this Patriots game where Darnold just saw more ghosts, most of their games have been close. I guess that the inexplicable loss to the Giants, but again, you can put that one completely on Darnold. So you take him out of the equation for those 2
remember
blowout
that
losses.
That game was in MetLife Stadium where Sam Darnold, sees ghosts. So
Right.
So anyway, to look at their schedule, okay, if they can find a way to beat the Cardinals this week, and you really have to just hope that, like, you're hoping Kyler Murray and Hopkins aren't playing, and that's
Hope is not a plan. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that's where the Panthers are. I mean, I think they can beat Washington, they can beat Miami, they can beat Atlanta. I mean, as Breech points out, they can go 3-1 over their next 4 games. They can also go 0 they can go 0-4.
By the way, if they lose to the Dolphins, the season's over.
Yeah,
that is true.
There's no coming back from that. Even if you beat the Cardinals and football team, you lose to the Dolphins, the season's over.
That's correct. You hang it up if you lose.
What if they beat everyone except for the Dolphins, Ryan?
They'll go to the playoffs.
Do they forfeit the playoffs because season's over?
They should.
I think if they want to be a playoff team, they need to go 3-2 heading into Christmas. And that's not unreasonable. You beat Washington, Miami, Atlanta.
Oh, right. Yeah, 3-2. And that'll put them.
That gets them to 7-7 for those final 3 games with Tampa, New Orleans, Tampa.
And they got to win 2 or 3. Yikes. That's a big ask.
Big ask.
But look, here's the thing. If Cam Newton is playing like he's healthy, that's a different conversation. You feel better about those last 3 games. If he's playing like he did last year, then you're like, okay, it's just basically Sam Darnold, but a little taller and a little faster.
Exactly. All right, that's it for the Emergency Podcast. We are going to hang out in the YouTube chat and talk some NFL football for a few minutes.
If we did an Emergency Podcast, I thought for sure it was going to be about Odell signing. I still can't believe Cam Newton signed a contract today. My mind's blown.
It is Breech Pod 2000. It is insane that Cam Newton is signing with the Panthers before Odell Beckham is signing with anybody, and that Cam Newton is probably getting more money than Odell Beckham is going to get, which is I did not see coming. Thanks for listening to the pod. If you got questions about any questions about the NFL, Cam Newton, Odell Beckham, anything, drop it in the chat and we will answer it. Okay, so Cam Newton back. Wow, I need to get my. Wait a minute, I have a
Cam
Newton.
Yeah, baby.
You got a Cam Newton jersey back there? Oh, that's got the bobblehead.
Where's Phillip Rivers? Did you throw him away already?
Can that be a prize for our next giveaway?
That thing bobblehead?
Yeah, you can't give it away.
I
would never give it.
We got to set a super high goal for that one.
Breech putting him on the spot too.
For my Cam Newton bobblehead?
Yeah,
7,000 likes,
I'm
Brinson.
giving away all my stuff just because we're just like hit the like.
We're gonna cut to a show in like 6 months where Brinson's entire desk is empty because we gave it all away.
Actually,
Hair plug's gone.
My wife would greatly appreciate that. So.
Duke basketball.
No, that Duke basketball is not going. Go Tar Heels.
You love to see it.
Way too readily available.
That is so scary. That big face Brinson yelling at you.
Go Tar Heels.
That's way better than the dunk button.
Yeah, it is.
All right, we got some questions coming in to chat specifically about Odell Beckham. Hello, gentlemen. Do you think OBJ to the Patriots is a possibility? Is he a better deep ball threat than Kendrick Bourne or Nelson Aguilar? Please. To the second part, yes, absolutely.
With the asterisk is if he's healthy.
Sure. I think it's a legitimate possibility that he ends up with the Patriots. And there's a report out there today that he wants to see what happens with this weekend's games.
Right.
In other words, OBJ, I guess, he doesn't want to sign this week, and people are like, "Well, is he going to play this week?" I think he wants to see how the playoff landscape shapes out. He wants to go to some team that's going to be in the mix late in the season. He's trying to raise his profile. He's trying to get people. He's trying to get attention in the sense that his production will be valued in the free agency market after this year is what I would think.
And a part of this, when you talk about why wait for, like, why not sign right now and make sure you're playing this weekend? Why wait through? Is because there's some big games. some of the teams we've heard floated around are the Seahawks and the Packers. Well, they're playing each other this weekend, and if the Seahawks lose, they are way out of the playoff race. And if you're Odell, you don't want to be stuck on that team that would be 3-6 if they lose to the Packers. Then you kind of have the Patriots not in the exact same situation, but if they beat the Browns, I think Odell will be more inclined to sign here. The Chiefs, if they lose to the Raiders, that becomes a little bit less attractive. So it is interesting. And also the list of teams is interesting because I can't even believe the Saints are in the running. Like, Odell, you know what it's like to play with a team that doesn't really throw the ball with Baker Mayfield. I don't know why you want to go finish the season with Trevor Siemian. You're just going to get upset over the final 9 weeks and get cut there because you're going to be so mad. It just seems like if you're Odell, it should either be Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, or Patrick Mahomes.
Don't disagree. With the setting of cameras, there are an ounce of hope to grab Odell Beckham as well. I mean, maybe? I don't think so.
Well, I think Robbie Anderson would like to see a few passes come his way before they expand the wide receiver room. I mean, based on how
Robbie Anderson catches a couple of passes.
Based on how Cam threw the ball last year, I don't know if Odell would have him on his list. I think that's another reason to wait a week or two and see what Cam looks like, if that's a consideration. For sure.
Are the Falcons being underrated in the division right now, or is there just too much of a talent gap? I would say the Falcons are being underrated in the division.
I
mean, they lost to the Panthers, who had Sam Darnold.
True.
But they're now
Falcons
4-4. They're on the right side of the playoff line.
Yeah, I mean,
what's funny is that before the Saints win, their wins were against the Giants, the Jets, the Dolphins. It was one of those classic. They need to beat someone good before you believe in them. Yeah, I'm not sold on the Falcons yet.
Falcons plus 260 to make the playoffs. I would rather bet on the Panthers at 10-1 to make the playoffs than the Falcons at plus 260 to make.
Yes, the Panthers seem like a better value.
Well, let's see. So the Falcons have at Dallas, they have New England, at Jacksonville,
loss, win, loss. Those are the next 4 games.
Tampa Bay, at Carolina. Then they finish with Detroit, Buffalo. It's going to be close between them and the Panthers in terms of what their final record is.
By the way, if you're asking questions, 1, keep asking them. You can ask them as you want. 2, hit the like button on the right there. Hit the like button and subscribe button while you're here. Why does everyone say Mike Shanahan a genius? That's clearly a Ryan Wilson burner account.
Mike or Kyle?
Purposely a little subterfuge saying Mike to confuse us. I assume he means Kyle, and it's because his offensive schemes are great, and his last name is Shanahan, apparently, right now.
Mike Shanahan probably is a genius. He won 2 Super Bowls. I mean, you could argue about the football team or at the time of the Washington Redskins team. That stretch, that wasn't very good.
Just don't call him that. How are you doing that?
But, RG3 started strong, and then the wheels fell off, and everything went sideways for him and Mike and Kyle and RG3.
Well, I mean, because he tore his ACL in the playoffs. I mean,
but there was some sort of power struggle between the young quarterback and the coaches as well. I seem to recall.
Yeah, and
then Kirk Cousins was also drafted in that class, and he started playing, and that clearly didn't make RG3 feel good.
Yeah, Bruce Allen infighting with the ownership as well. Are we doing the pick show right after this? No, the pick show is at 5:00 today. I'm sure there's a reason that Devo explained to me, and I've forgotten it because
Prisco hasn't told you about his day.
What's he doing?
He's got alarms going off all day, but he still refuses to leave his apartment. So he's just sitting in his apartment listening to these alarms, refuses to go in the studio. So that's why we had to bump the pick show back today.
Are you serious? What do you mean alarms going off?
Like fire alarms or
They're
something?
like testing alarms today.
Oh, there's
classic Prisco.
Sitting there with his big 70s headphones on.
I bet he pulled the alarms.
Listening to records.
So 5 p.m. Eastern today on the Pick 6 YouTube channel.
That's why we're doing it at 5 p.m. Eastern?
That's why.
Are you effing kidding me?
He pulled the alarms to get out of the show.
Pete
That's
is sitting in his condo.
Steely-eyed, staring straight ahead, not being affected by the sounds of the droning alarm.
How could you sit in a condo while they're doing a fire alarm testing all day instead of just going into the office? What is wrong with a psychopath?
Pete's in his robe. He's not getting out of his robe till 5 p.m. That's what I'm hearing.
What a lunatic. Jesse Gutierrez asks, do you think Myles Gaskin scores tonight? I don't.
I had Myles Gaskins over 22.5 receiving yards on the HQ, and Brinson and I talked about that last night. You had Myles Gaskins doing what?
I had Salvin Ahmed
Oh, you had
over rush yards,
There you go.
10.5.
He could score, sure. I think Lamar Jackson's going to score a lot more. I don't know if that helps you.
You know what's crazy is we saw Jacksonville upset the Bills in Jacksonville on Sunday. And so because of that, I was thinking, is there any way the Dolphins can win tonight? I looked over the past 3 years, the Dolphins are 5-1 at home in November.
Let me give you another fun fact.
Which I think is in 5-1 against the spread also. And I think that's interesting because we always talk about that Florida home field advantage. When you have northern teams who are practicing all week in colder weather, low humidity, and they have to go down. I think the weather tonight in Miami is like 80 degrees, 80% humidity. You get tired after two. You're not used to go outside and run 80% humidity after you've been in like 10% humidity. You're going to die after like an hour.
Brinson, hover your finger over the dunk button. Number one, Baltimore is south of the Mason-Dixon line. So
I said northern town. Baltimore's north of Florida. Please dunk on Wilson.
We missed.
Number two, John Harbaugh is 9-0 against the spread against the Dolphins.
How many of those games were played in November, Wilson?
Number three.
How many of those games were played in November?
What was the score last year, Brinson, when they played?
2 years ago,
59-10. And was that game played in November? Yes or no?
And
Just answer my question. I need you to answer my question.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. And the last 3 times they played, the average margin of victory is 40.4 points. So yes.
So your argument against this is bringing up a game from 2 years ago.
So
last 3 games.
So I was actually doing research on this last night and ended up like down this rabbit hole of 2008. Because
Ronnie Brown.
Well, so the Dolphins fired Cameron.
Yeah.
In 2007 after a disastrous season, right?
One win, I believe.
Correct. Yeah, one, maybe two. Yeah, I think 1 win.
John Beck started some of those games.
Yeah. Then in 2008, the Ravens hired John Harbaugh. And I could find no mention anywhere of the Dolphins interviewing John Harbaugh. And so I sort of wonder if
revenge game.
no, I sort of wonder if like John Harbaugh tried to get an interview with Miami and was told, and like they were just like, we're not interviewing you, man.
We don't want a special teams coach, bro.
That's what I'm saying. And so they ended up hiring Tony Sperano. So I just sort of wonder,
backfired if they did.
Like it is.
Rest in peace, Tony.
It's just very curious that John Harbaugh, and he said when they hired Cam Cameron as their offensive coordinator in Baltimore, he said like he did a lot of good stuff in Miami with what he had around him. And I was reading this article with these, and like Ronnie Brown, and a bunch of different Dolphins guys were like, "What the hell? Like, what a weird."
No, Joey Porter stood up in the locker room and just yelled in Cameron's face at one point because Joey.
No, I'm saying that John Harbaugh made all these Dolphins players mad. But with the comments, it's just very odd that there's this like consistent willingness to run up the score on the Dolphins.
But you pointed this out on HQ that Vic Fangio's mad at him too, and they used to coach together, so he'll run the score up against anybody.
Fair, yeah. I mean, and let's not forget too, Lamar Jackson, Hollywood Brown.
Oh, I forgot that was my other dunk point. That's right.
You know where they're from, Breech?
Florida, South Florida.
Well, Hollywood, Florida, which is 23 minutes away from the Dolphin Stadium.
Is it north though? Because according to Breech, that's going to be a huge temperature difference.
I'm sorry. Was Marquise Brown practicing in Hollywood, Florida this week, Ryan?
Yes,
do you have some inside information I don't have?
Do you think it's hot down there?
Feels what?
Great. No, Miami in November feels incredible.
He said it's going to be 80 tonight, so he's worried that the heat will.
The heat? It's 80 degrees. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the weather forecast.
No. The South Florida temperature argument is for September, not for November.
Well, Breech is making it for November.
No, November.
It works in November too. They beat the Rams and the Chargers in November last year. 2 games they had no business winning.
No business.
Do you know why birds and old people go south in the winter?
Because it's cold.
No, because it feels yes, because it's cold.
Yeah, and they don't have to play 4 quarters of NFL football. They go sit on a beach and then birds sleep together and have more birds. And old people just sit on a beach. They don't run around for 60 minutes.
I can't wait till Breech has to explain to his daughter the birds and the bees.
5-1. I picked the Ravens to win and cover the spread. Our guy asked if Myles Gaskin can play well, and I can say that I'm saying the Dolphins have historically played well at home in November, so maybe Myles Gaskin can score a touchdown.
One last thing, you mentioned Harbaugh's connection or not lack of connection with Miami. I always come back to this. the Ravens wanted to hire Jason Garrett, and Jason Garrett said, "I'm not even going to interview with the Ravens." Imagine where that team would be now, and the Steelers and the Bengals, the Browns would all be much better off if Harbaugh had not come to Baltimore and Jason Garrett had.
Exactly. I'm telling you, there's something with Miami and John Harbaugh. I don't know what it is.
Well, Breech thinks the Dolphins are going to win tonight. So if they do, that'll be he'll have the dunk of all dunks.
Yeah, if that happens, good luck to you, Breech. All right, we're gonna get out of here. That's the Cam Newton Emergency.
For the
Podcast.
record, I picked the Ravens both straight up and against the spread.
Of course you did.
Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the video, hit the alarm button, and you'll be notified when we go live for our pick show this afternoon. Plus, every Tuesday, Ryan Wilson hosts a mock draft live show. Who will the Panthers take with a 30-second pick in 2022?
Nice, 30-second.
That's right. Cam Newton, when Cam Newton wins the Super Bowl with the Panthers, what a story that would be. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
I thought you were going to say because they traded with the Bengals to get the 30 seconds.
Oh, hey-oh.
See you guys later.